Hey everyone, let's talk goals and let's pretend that this isn't happening and that I'm organized, which I'm not that much. This is like the fourth attempt of starting this video and not getting lost in rambling. Let's see if this goes better. So reading stats first and then life goals. With reading, I'm doing actually pretty well. I'm quite happy with the amount of books I'm reading. I'm not quite sure about what I'm reading, but I'm reading by whim what I feel like. So that's okay, but it's not really working towards the reading goals that I set myself. So one of the reading goals I'm doing super well in is my overall books count. It's 77 books so far of the 100 I wanted to read this year, so there's no worry about reaching that. When I spread it down, normally my split between reading and listening is 50-50, but I think so far I listen to a lot more audiobooks. So I listened to 43 audiobooks, I read 15 ebooks and 19 physical books. The ebooks and physical books are a little bit screwed at the moment because there were some books that I actually read on ebook and physical at the same time. So I'm not sure how to count that, but I counted those as physical. Anyways, it's not that important. It's just a little thingy that I noticed that I have started using multiple formats for one book while reading or listening, and that screws up tracking. How do you do that? Is that important? No, it's not important, but just curious wise, how do you do that? So moving on in stats. The amount of books is high, and what's even higher is the number of pages and minutes I read per month. So in total, I read 10,186 pages, which averages about 1,700 per month, which is higher than normal. Normally, I have a good month or an average month when I read 1,000 pages. That's a go-to for me. That's what I can read. That's what I'm normal or average in my reading. The same with the listening. I listen to 20,675 minutes, which averages about 3,450 pages or minutes per month, which is almost double. So that's interesting. One side effect or one effect that's probably because of all the listening is that I've been running a lot due to my running goals, but I've been walking a lot less, so I'm not sure if that averages out. We'll see, but I'm definitely doing a lot of escapism reading these days, and audiobooks really help with that because I can move and de-stress while listening to books. That kind of works well. Oh, it just says I'm having a horrible year. I don't know. Anyways, moving on to other stats. I already also DNF'd 4 books, which is not that many compared to other people. For me, I think it's about normal. I'm not really bothered about it. I am not the best at DNFing because I often have this finisher thing that I want to finish things I started. Not always for the betterment of my enjoyment of the books. When I look at authors, you know, I'm not tracking that many details about the authors, but what I really find interesting this year is that the 77 books were written by 47 different authors. So I read a lot of series and repeat authors. I also noticed that I'm starting to get curious how many new authors I read per year. Not sure if I want to add that for the second half of the year to my stats or if I'll start that next year. We'll see. It's probably screwing up things. I'll have to think about that, but that's something that I think is interesting to figure out how many new authors I go to in a year or if I just repeat or stick with the authors I know. Curious about that. One of my goals for the year was to try and read bigger books because I tend to go to short audiobooks that I can fly through and listen in one go, or shorter books that I can finish on a weekend or in a week and not get lost in for multiple weeks due to reading time. And I'm not sure if I'm doing well on that. My average page count per book is around 300 pages, which is a little bit higher than it used to be in recent years. And my average listening or minutes per audiobook is with 450, a little bit lower than it used to be. So I really don't know if I'm doing good at that, but I know that I'm not paying attention to it when I'm choosing books. So I often tend to still go to the shorter books and fast reads when I pick a book because I'm stressed and just want to finish something. That's also something that puts me off from bigger books all the time, that I don't get the gratification of finishing something faster. For other trackings, I decided this year I want to try percentages, and I thought 20% was a good goal or target, and I'm not doing well on a lot of those. So let's ignore that. I still have only read one German book for the whole year, so not that much. And nonfiction, I'm only at 6 books, so 7%. That's really less than usual. And modern classics, I'm only with 11 books at 14%. So not doing really great there. With translations, I read 17 books and I'm at 22%, so I'm quite happy about that. And rereads have increased. In the last check-in we did, I haven't read anything again for the year, and in the last quarter, Q2, I reread 23 books. I went on a rereading spree a lot. So that's actually 29%. And then I also tracked sequels because I'm always on series, and I've read a lot of sequels, especially the rereads were a lot of sequels. So at the moment I've read 46% of my reading were sequels, so books in series and not the first book. Not bad. I also loosely track LGBTQIA as a category, either it be characters, topic-wise, or mostly I'm not sure about authors because I'm not tracking that. But that is a 60% of my reading have dealt with any kind of form of queer characters. And I've noticed that this is something with my current reading, actually could stop tracking, because most of the books I read these days have at least 1 or 2 characters, or the main characters, who are queer. So like I said, my reading is going well. I really enjoy the books I'm reading. I'm having fun with my reading. I'm prioritizing enjoyment over the feeling of I should read this or I should read that, or the books everyone talks about. I really go for the books that I want to read. Unfortunately, this doesn't really help with my other main goal of reading books off my wish list. So apparently I tend to gravitate to things I haven't heard about recently instead of the books that's been on my wish list forever. So, and I also noticed I didn't track when I bought a wish list book. That really doesn't help with reaching the goal. I'm wondering if I should scratch the goal or if I should start tracking it to be better aware of it. Probably tracking, right? Anyways, I am accumulating a lot of books this year. I'm adding them to my wish list faster than I can read them. So there needs to be done something. Maybe Q3 is the quarter where that happens, that I finally make a decision on what I actually want to do with my wish list. Summing up, reading goals are great. Everything is fine. Nothing needs to change. I may need to track a little bit more, but overall, I'm quite happy with my reading this year. Now moving on to life goals, or should I add one channel goal? I wanted to make more videos and be more active in the community again, but that didn't really happen due to life. It's still complicated and I'm stressed at the time. And I noticed this weekend, I really took a rest day. I'm not good at resting. And yesterday I really did nothing. I didn't exercise, I didn't have any plans, I didn't have any goals, I didn't have any achievements. I let go of all of that. I read a lot and I watched a lot of series, but I didn't really exert myself. And that did me good. So I'm kind of not sure if making a video today is a good idea, because I'm torn between I want another rest day and I should rest more, but I also want to talk to you guys about goals. So need to figure that out to really implement rest more and give myself a break and not always have expectations of myself. But I'm not good at that. So moving on to life goals. Life goals, I'm really all over the place this year. I don't really have particular life goals. I tried a few things like monthly goals, short-term goals, but I'm overall mostly failing because it's overwhelming. And I am starting to think that coming down of all this overwork and stress is exhausting. So like my body feels like it realized that it doesn't have to go all the time anymore, so it doesn't want to go anymore. And my brain is the same. It's really easily overworked. Like my brain, I can feel that it can't go on anymore. That's why there's so much Netflix and series watching going on, because I don't have to think as much and I fall asleep to watching TV, which I don't mind to as much. So life goals mostly were about feeling good and being more flexible and doing what I want. But a lot of the things have gone down to doing less, isolating more, seeing less people, being more in my brain, and really, really being overwhelmed with everything. I'm mostly looking at myself at functioning at work and getting a few things done privately, but overall, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Currently, I'm a lot stressed due to few changes at work. The overall change of working less is going well, but the new team still hasn't found itself. So there are, let's say, teething problems that need to be figured out, and it's vacation time. So we're basically not all there all the time. So we're starting a new team, but one is always missing. So you can't really start the, how do we do this? What do we do? How do we want to have this done? Like, the general communication is a little bit difficult at the moment, and that stresses me out, and it's no one's fault, it's just my fault, and it'll go away. The same is that I bought a new kitchen, which will come in the beginning of August, and that's stressing me out immensely. I'm looking forward to having a new kitchen and all the things, but dealing with preparing everything and getting rid of the old kitchen is just stressful. So that's what's mostly on my mind in July and bothering me and exhausting me. Then when it comes to goals per se that I really, really made, there were only running goals, and I'm abandoning them. One of my goals was to run half marathon distance by summer, and I definitely did that. I did that in May, so I was a little bit faster, but also I did that so that I can stop long runs. I noticed that the second goal for September, running a full marathon, I really don't want to invest the time right now. Also, my body is probably too exhausted to put in the running time. A marathon is 40 kilometers, and you need to run a lot to prepare to get that done. And I'm not really in shape and time space, mind space, all the spaces that I really want to do that. So I am looking more at changing my running goals to focusing more on the pace. I want to run a little bit faster than I am right now, and also having a higher normal distance. So now that I don't have to work at 9 o'clock anymore, like I shouldn't be too much later at the office, but I don't have to be there by 9 o'clock anymore, which is helping me because I'm not really good at being at the office at 9 a.m. I actually never am at the office at 9 a.m. I do have flexible times, but in the past I had office hours at 9, so being a little bit late could have been a problem, and it wasn't really a big problem, but I wasn't reachable then. Now I don't have to be reachable by 9 o'clock, so it eases up on that, but it also frees up more time before work to go on longer runs. So I want to see if I can increase the distance on my before work runs and average like 5 on one day, 7 on another day, and 10 plus on the weekend, kilometers, always kilometers. And so far I'm good at doing the 5K before work, and I really feel good at doing that. The 7K, I'm not there yet. I'm currently doing interval or speed runs to increase speed, which I don't do over 7 kilometers. It's usually 4 kilometers on that day, but that's also working out fine. And so I'm really, really happy with the running. I'm still trying to increase or build a yoga habit, which I don't know. I would like to have a daily yoga practice. Not long, 5 to 10 minutes, I'm fine, but still sometimes I just forget or I don't feel like it. I'm too lazy to pull out the mat. The obvious things. And I am okay with the amount of yoga I'm doing because I'm still doing some, but I would like to have it or build it into a daily habit. We'll see how that goes. The same with the Korean learning. I took a break for 3 months, but the course started up again in June, and I am struggling to make it a daily habit. I think it would work best if I have a daily habit of practicing and learning new stuff and doing lessons. But I often find I don't really have a time schedule for that, or I don't know where to fit it in, because right after work my brain doesn't work like that. It's really not there, and oftentimes in the evening it's also not there. Before work I also don't manage. That only leaves the weekend, but most of the time the weekend I need to relax. So you see my problem? I want to do all these things, but I don't have the energy and mind space or mind frame or capacity to do that. And that's frustrating me, which is also not helping moving towards the goals. This is a very rambly video. I am very sorry. So finishing up, I'm not doing good on my life goals, but I'm doing okay in general. So I feel like I'm okay where I am, and I want too much. And I don't know if goals and really fixing them more and scheduling them more is the way to go, or taking more rest time so that I really take a proper break of things and not always feel bad about not doing the thing I want to do. I don't have the solutions. If you have any experience what worked for you, let me know. Also tell me, how's your reading going? What have been some of the good books you've read? What have you enjoyed in Q2 or in the year so far? How are you doing? Let's talk in comments. Thank you for watching me ramble on about unorganized thoughts on goals, because that's what they mostly are at the moment. I know they should work, but I don't, and I'm rambling again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing and sharing and everything.